Welcome to the Church in the Wild podcast. You'll be hearing the words from worship from Sunday, September 28th, 2025, where we conclude our journey on the wild path and discuss how we embody. You can find out more about Church in the Wild and all of our upcoming events and programs at churchinthewild.org. Thanks for listening.
So we have our poem up next, and I wanted to give it some context. This is a poem I decided to memorize for myself. We have some of those prayers or Bible verses a lot of times that we're given to memorize. We're instructed and raised to pray this prayer, memorize your Our Father or your Hail Mary or whatever it is. And we commit those to heart, and they are helpful. And I think those are words that come to us when we can't find our own words. And so I thought, let me add something else into the mix of memorized words. So a couple years ago, I chose this poem, and I highly recommend that as a spiritual practice that connects to our theme today of Embody, to pick some words that you want to always be able to grasp when you can't come up with your own. The Peace of Wild Things by Wendell. When despair for the world grows in me, and I wake in the night at the least sound, in fear of what my life and my children's lives may be, I go and lie down where the wood drake rests in his beauty on the water, and the great heron feeds. I come into the peace of wild things who do not tax their lives with forethought of grief. I come into the presence of still water, and I feel above me the day-blind stars waiting with their light. For a time I rest in the grace of the world and am free.
Hi, my name is Dolly, and our wisdom today comes from How to Love by Thich, Nhat, Hanh. Heart like a river. If you pour a handful of salt into a cup of water, the water becomes undrinkable. But if you pour the salt into a river, people can continue to cook, wash, and drink. The river is immense and has the capacity to receive, embrace, and transform. When our hearts are small, our understanding and compassion are limited, and we suffer. We can't accept or tolerate others and their shortcomings, and we demand that they change. But when our hearts expand, these same things don't make us suffer anymore. We have a lot of understanding and compassion and can embrace others. We accept others as they are, and then they have a chance to transform. So the big question is how we help our hearts grow. Join me in our response to wisdom in the program. Wild Spirit, come, inhabit, and expand our hearts. May we step into the river of your love.
Oh, we've been walking the wild path this month. And by that, we have been thinking about it in terms of living a life of faith, being fully human, living from our souls, enchanted living. These are all just different ways we've been thinking about what it means to walk the wild path together. And when we developed Church in the Wild and we're coming up with all of our mission and vision and core values, we were also asked to develop the plan. How does somebody enter into your community? And so we came up with these 4 trail markers, perhaps, of how people might want to show up, sort of the verbs we want to do as we walk the path to God, walk the wild path together. Connect, honor, act, embody. And they don't necessarily have to go in that order, but they kind of flow nicely in that order. When you think about it, we come oftentimes seeking connection to others, to our own spirits, to our maker, to the land, to the earth, to our fellow earthlings. We're seeking some kind of connection, right? There's something missing. We feel lonely. And we know we are all intricately connected in the web of life. But what we're missing is the awareness of that. And so showing up together, being together, connecting with God in prayer, reminding ourselves that we are all made of the same stuff and come from the same source, that we inter-are. That's part of our work, of living faithfully. And then we talked about honor. And that means to regard with great respect or fulfill an obligation or an agreement. And so we honor and acknowledge we talked about the dance partners of life, because it's also the phrase to honor is to bow to your partner in square dancing. So we honor our dance partners in life, all the other beings that we share this planet with, by regarding them with respect and giving our attention and intention to something. Sort of opening our eyes and looking around, being aware and present has to do with honor. And then the fullness of honor comes action, right? We can't live on the meditation mat. We can't live in prayer. We have to act. Faith without works is dead, right? And last week we heard words from Melina Rudman, who said the most powerful thing any of us can do is to be for and with. It's very easy to say what we're against. Harder to be what we stand for. To be for life is to give your life in service to life. To love, feed, clothe, share, walk beside, listen to, cry, and laugh with. And of course, when we talk about action and the right ways of acting, we looked to Jesus. And for me, he's the one who really inspires me to act for love versus just acting against hate, to love our enemies, to stand and live for love and life. And this takes real practice and discipline to show up, to do these things as we walk the wild path of life. To live fully connected, honoring, acting for, we must embody, which is our last word. And as we thought about embody, what we have on the website, by that we mean, I aim to live each day with intentionality and mindfulness, knowing the divine spirit lives in me. That's how we understand embody. Now, I feel most able to embody love when I'm being loved, right? When I feel respected and valued. The more love I can feel in a space, the more I feel like I'm just able to float in on it and be a part of it. It's how I felt during Wild Roots weekend. Like, gosh, this place was just so full of love, and it felt so easy to embody that love. I thought, too, this is, to me, the Ted Lasso effect. You know, here's a guy who just shows up to love everybody as they are and help them to be their best selves. And even the people who fought it hardest, by gosh, you can't fight love. You know, you're just loved into being a better person. Over and over, you're shown unconditional love. People are like, what? He changed the whole environment of everybody in his sphere. Watch Ted Lasso. Yes, as many times as you need to get through this real life. So I'm curious to know, have you ever gotten to experience a time like this? When or where have you felt like you were able to just float on the love you were surrounded by?
Pissing people off.
Testify, Bill. We're here for it. I love it.
We hold you in our hearts.
Yes. Yes.
But I strive for that moment.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not an ongoing thing, but I'm getting in tune with that more and more.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah, you named something very real in that it is hard to live in that space all the time because of the way the world is, right? You know, it's very easy to default back to, the anger, the individualism, the competition. And I've felt this way at camp, right? When we were just all living here together, you got to make meals happen and you got to show up to the next thing, and everybody's working together to just have a good time and keep the kids safe. And you can feel that sense of we're all in it together. But try as I might, the rest of the world is not camp. I'm trying. That's my goal, is to make life feel like summer camp all the time. So we need to cultivate some of this love and bring our awareness to the ever-present presence. Connect to the source. Center, regulate. This takes, it's sort of like the circle. We want to connect. We want to honor. And then we know we got to act. But gosh, that depletes us. Gosh, we lose our patience after a while and we get grumpy. And we got to go back to the connection point to really start to embody that love. And so the first step for me is always checking in with the body. If I am not my best self, I heard the greatest advice a while back. When you feel like you hate everyone, eat something. That's my go-to. When the kids start whining, I just hand them food. Here, eat. I assume you take after me and you're hangry right now. When you feel like you hate everyone, eat something. When you feel like everyone hates you, take a nap. When you feel like everything's hopeless, go outside. Our bodies have needs that, when we don't pay attention to them, will sneak up in ways we're not ready for. When I am steaming mad, I go outside in my bare feet and feel that presence connect to the ground itself. So I'm curious what helps you in these moments where you realize, oh, maybe there's a need I'm not meeting for my poor body right now.
Take a nap would be one of my
Music, yeah. With noise-canceling headphones for me, yes, music. Yeah, lie down, take a nap. Drink a big glass of water.
That was my mother. I have a stomachache. Drink a big glass of water. I had a headache. Drink a big glass of water.
That cures everything.
Drink a big glass of water and read a book.
Look at us how we drink water.
I know, yeah. Hydrate. Sometimes it's just that basic. Yeah, we've got to care for our bodies to be able to embody, right? And then, oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, I notice myself that if I don't get a healthy amount of sleep, I'm very susceptible to depression.
Yeah.
Irritability.
Right. absolutely. That, I was just talking with a school counselor, and that's what she was saying. Like, number one, if there's behavioral issues, get them sleeping. Make sure they're getting their sleep. And for some reason, we act like, oh, well, that's just kind of silly for ourselves, right? Like, oh, well, my body shouldn't have needs. Come on, we all have bodies. They all need stuff. It's okay. Give them what they need. And then I think it's really important to begin our days or restart, maybe we have to say, let me restart, with intention. And we do this every week, right? We set an intention for ourselves to give us a focus. I was excited and lucky enough to do the Reiki 1 training. And I was given this great little piece of paper that now hangs right next to my bed with the Reiki 5 principles, which are just for today, do not be angry, do not worry, be grateful, do your duties, be kind to others. And they hang right next to my bed so that I can see them when I open my eyes and say, which I love that first line, just for today, right? Don't get ahead of yourself. Just for today, do not be angry, do not worry, be grateful, do your duties, be kind to others. Simple but not easy, right? Hi, welcome. Our minds will find things to focus and fixate on if we don't give them intention. I realized this week our brains are like corgis. We have a corgi. Or any working dog, right? If you don't give them a job, they will create a job for themselves. We know this, right? And our corgi has all kinds of fun jobs, like alerting us to every little sound he hears with those antenna ears, or telling us when there's a fly in the house and getting very worked up about it. Our brains are another part of our bodies, right? Our mind will find a job to do. It will find things to get stuck on. We can so easily get caught up in our minds, living from the neck up, that we think we are our thoughts. After spending so much time with them, going constantly, at least for me, they never stop, 24/7, we start to think, oh, this is me. But I'm here to remind us, those you don't have to believe every thought you have. If we can observe our thoughts, then we aren't them. If we can say, oh, well, thank you, brain. I've started, this is my new mantra, thank you, brain, for all your many thoughts. And when I say that to myself, I get like a couple seconds of mental quiet. I don't know if it'll work for anybody else, but find that phrase that's like, okay, brain, okay, little working dog, thank you. Your job is not needed right now. You can rest. We've got to take care of our bodies, and our minds are part of our bodies. Give them an intention. When we start our day or restart our day, or have a mantra that we can pause and say to our brains, it helps them to let go of whatever was being fixated on and focus on that, right? So all of this, all of these little hacks, things to try, it's all part of the heart expanding work we heard Thich Nhat talk about. In this little book, How to Love. I can't even tell you how many times I read one page and I just have to stop and let the wisdom sink in, because this book is deep. It is small, but so good. So as he said, when our hearts are small, our understanding and compassion are limited, and we suffer. We can't accept or tolerate others and their shortcomings, and we demand that they change. But when we can expand our hearts, these same things don't make us suffer anymore. And we have a lot of understanding and compassion, and they can have a chance to transform. So the big question is, how can we help our hearts grow? Heart like a river, he says. And I thought, well, that sounds really hard. Maybe it's not so much about expanding our hearts to the size of a river. Maybe they will eventually. But first, maybe all we have to do is simply put the cup of our hearts into the river of God's love. Right? If the world has dumped salt into the heart of your cup, the cup of your heart, and the water there is not drinkable, it's not good, it's poisoned, then take that cup to the river and place it in there. And very soon, all that salty water is absorbed, diluted, and washed away. Then the little cup that had the salt of the world dumped in it will overflow with the love of God. So whatever it is we do to get there, to get our hearts to the river, whether we quiet our mind with a mantra, or lay in the grass. Yeah. Or sit next to a tree. Or we pray, or create, or dance. However we connect, honor, and act, even if it's just taking a breath, we all have ways to the river. We can find help to get there. And we can step in to the river of God's love so that we just embody it and lean back into the flow. That is my way to Thich Nhat Hanh's guidance of expanding your heart to the size of a river. I don't think I could do it on my own. Maybe if I could sit and meditate for as many hours as he did in his life, maybe we will get there. But for me, I want to take my salty cup to the river of God's love and let it flow. Knowing that we can return to that river whenever we need that refreshing flow of love in our hearts again. And we'll try our best to live there, but we know life happens. And so it's okay to return again and again. So as we walk this wild path, this faith journey, we have some tools. Connect, honor, act, and embody. And I give thanks that I don't do this alone. And I'm really grateful to have this circle of comrades in the struggle, of friends, of journey mates, fellow adventurers on the wild path. So thank you for being ones I look forward to connecting with as we do this work together. May the wild adventure never cease and always lead us to the river of God's love, right?
What I want you to do, now I know, like, you know, some people can't walk the hill and stuff. I realize that. Thank you for having it up here right now, because it's bad ankles and stuff. Yeah. What I want you to do is take a moment and feel the sensations of the sun, the breeze. Listen if you can hear it. I can't anymore. The birds and the crickets, maybe, and the insects, and you know, and get lost in that. And now you can't eclipse your own thoughts. Don't even try. Just get lost in your thoughts and be just in with nature. Take a little walk, or you can stand up here and look out and gaze at the lake. I want you to maybe pick up something like we did last week. We picked up an item. But I want to do something different with this, not transferring anything to it. I want you to pick up that item or focus on something and ponder its beauty, its construction, its purpose, the design that the Creator has put in it, and ask yourself, why is it that way? You don't have to go through a whole bunch of scientific stuff. Just think about how it fits in with stuff and how wonderfully, beautifully, creatively it's been made. And you maybe just pick, if it's an item like an acorn or flower, you could pick it up and bring it back up here with you and hang on to that. But ponder that. And maybe let the Spirit guide you as to how it fits in. And our DNA, we share with almost everything, by the way. Chimps, I believe it's like 86%. Fruit flies are really high too, actually. But we are all part of that web. We are all connected, and creation embodies us. And so take a little reprieve, take a reverie, get lost in creation, grab something, focus on something, and ponder its beauty and its purpose. All right. And I have a quote here from Chief Seattle.
Oh my God, my labradorite, Krista.
Chief Seattle said, "This we know, the earth does not belong to man." Or maybe I'm going to make this inclusive. "This we know, the earth does not belong to people. People belong to the earth. All things are connected like the blood that unites us all. People did not weave the web of life. They are merely a strand in it. Whatever they do to the web, they do to themselves."
Thanks for listening. If you want to support Church in the Wild and the work we do striving for environmental and social justice, you can head on over to our website, churchinthewild.org/support, or you can click on the donation page link. There you can make a donation, set yourself up to be a recurring supporter, or you can buy something from our Redbubble shop. We're so glad you're with us on this journey, following the Spirit through creation, adventure, and restoration. Until next time.